If you're not abreast of who's who in entertainment industry, then you're either the sort that doesn't really care or doesn't continue with anyone except people who you care about. Harry Styles, though, may be a guy that's been making a reputation for himself for a touch but a decade and has skilled a minimum of a few of transitions since really digging his heels into the music world and moving on from there. Thus far he's been well known to several fans and has done whatever it takes to form certain that his name endures as he's gone from singer to actor to executive producer. He's covering his bases the maximum amount as he can so as to stay a career going. Then far he seems to be doing pretty much. Between his singing and acting careers he's been ready to establish himself as someone that's very right down to earth and prepared to stay his feet on the bottom as he moves forward. Here are a couple of belongings you won't have known about him. 10. He began in One Direction. Boy bands haven't been as big a thing within the recent past as they want to be when NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, 98 Degrees, Then On Then Forth were getting really popular, but a couple of groups have still hung in there over the years until it had been time to finally part ways. 9. Harry got his start on British version of the X Factor. One Direction was actually signed by Simon Cowell. But if not for the thought to mix the young men into this group, it's safe to mention that Harry wouldn't have gone any longer since he wasn't close to advance on his own. It doesn't appear to be it had been lack of talent. 8. He need to make his film debut within the Christopher Nolan flick, Dunkirk. In fact, apart from any film that's been about One Direction, this is often really the sole film he's been so far, but it had been one that managed to be deemed something special regardless of that some folks had to means any and every one historical inaccuracies. It had been still well done and really well acted. 7. Tons of individuals figured he was the category clown of the group. Harry does have his own sense of favor and swagger and he's not given over to being serious all the time, therefore the moniker might fit pretty much. He obviously knows when to urge to figure and when to play, but this sort of designation is typically reserved for people who don't always feel the necessity to be serious. 6. Harry has been an activist for a short time now. A lot of celebrities are getting involved in causes over the years and he's no different since he's been giving what he can in terms of donations and his free time so as to assist others and educate people who need it so as to form the planet a far better place. 5. He's still a relative newcomer to point out business but has enough experience and a solid career. Harry has been on the scene for the last 8 years, meaning that he started within the business when he was 16. That's long enough to get older a touch and choose what he wants to try to do for himself and where he sees his career going. 4. His sound is usually soft with a component of enter there and a few rock. His sort of music are some things that an individual has got to actually be into since like numerous others he does play to a particular crowd of individuals that's sort of a lot of softer stuff and aren't into anything harder, a minimum of not when they're curious about taking note of his music. 3. Harry once became involved a lady that was 14 years older than him. The woman in question is in her 30s at now and once they were dating it had been seen as something scandalous, but in fact there was nothing wrong it apart from what people wanted to mention. Older women and younger men in relationships don't seem to urge the maximum amount attention as younger ladies that accompany older men. 2. He dated Taylor Swift at one point. You can't really say he got around when it came to dating women, but he certainly appeared to find one that was quite a touch eye-catching when he went out with Taylor Swift for a short time in 2012. Obviously it ended after a short time and only those closest to them would really know why. 1. For a short time he went solo. The group did split and a couple of them tried begin solo careers, including Harry. He was attempting a solo career before he was ever put into the band though. It would appear that he aspires to be quite just a singer, so it'll be interesting to ascertain what he finishes up doing.